Hey guys, do you ever want to play Bedwars but nobody's on and you don't feel like finding a lobby one party? Well, today's video will be something that I've been working on for the past little while, and I think it would be something super interesting to find out. So today I'm going to be testing to see which mode is best for solo queuing. So I will be comparing solo, doubles, threes, and fours. Also, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and please comment below what mode you think will be the best for solo queuing. So first off, to address the elephant in the room of why I won't be counting 4v4 towards this test is mainly because it is such an easy mode. Now, not only can you end up dodging technically any parties that join, because if 4 people join at once, oh, I can dodge these because they're most likely sweats. But it also does not count for core wins, and I'm assuming if you're solo queuing, you probably want to just get some more stars, some more finals, whatever, and you don't have like teammates stealing, so 4v4 would not count towards these core stats, therefore not count towards leaderboard if you are eventually wanting that. For today's video, for the testing that I will be doing, I will run 10 games of each mode, so including wins and losses, 10 total games, and average out the stats throughout those to have like a mean FKDR that I averaged, a mean finals per game, etc. And while you solo queue, you will get more finals, so therefore average possibly a better FKDR than with a lobby 1 party, so it might be something to consider to actually do. Now, for the FKDR statistic, the reason why I think it is important to make sure we cover this is because most people in Bedwars at least half care about their stats. They don't want to lower their stats whilst playing, so why would they solo queue if it's just gonna drop their stats completely? So that brings us to why we're calculating that. And then finals per game, since you are more likely to get more finals, since there's nobody you really have to share with, because you won't have teammates being like, hey, could I get a final? Which now you just have random teammates that they're not gonna like be able to tell you anything other than in chat, and they're probably like 4 stars anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Also, I forgot to mention, I will be calculating win-loss and throughout the modes to see, hey, this mode's better than this, because obviously you do not want to not win a single game, or you want to have the best chance of winning, but also the best chance of averaging good finals per game. So this is all these stats are important, in whichever one has the best scores overall, we can decide as the winner. Now, I cannot do an actual hypothesis test on these, just because I'm not that advanced in statistics. However, I can run some tests, see maybe is there a difference between 2 modes things, but we'll see. First off, for this challenge, I also will need an account that is fair to assume that is the average Bedwars player. So I have an alt account that has around 2 FKDR and is 100 stars. It's basically the most average wannabe sweat account, so I think that'll be perfect for not only not getting targeted, by like different parties within the games, but also towards my teammates so they won't get targeted, because obviously I'm not trying to ruin a bunch of non's experiences. However, if you are on your main account and you're a higher star, these results may vary, because obviously if anyone's running an overlay and they see, oh, this guy is a 700 star, we gotta target him. Obviously 100 stars and 700 is quite different, and the skill level is most likely going to be different, so just be wary of that. Okay guys, so this is the account that I will be playing. So overall, these are the stats: solo, doubles, threes, fours. Could pause to look at them more clearly, but yeah, so yeah. Now, talking about rules now. So obviously there are going to be some rules that I have to follow. The first is I can't dodge, and obviously since this update already prevents that, I can't dodge what seems to be a party. So if I'm in like a game of fours and it's 12 out of 16 and a second later it's a full game, I can't dodge because, oh, I think that's a party, because post update that's unrealistic and a waste of my time, and it will skew the results. So I want to be as equal to everybody as possible. Number 2, I can't disqualify a game just because I get first rushed. Now obviously that would be unfortunate, but it is definitely going to happen when solo queuing. You're gonna queue a really good party that is your first rush, and they're gonna take you out. You might be able to stall it, maybe win, but that's very, very tough to do against a full party, though not impossible. Number 3, if I do accidentally queue another game into a mode, I can either not count the stats gained for that and just not count it, or I can do an extra game for each of the other modes to make it a fair playing field, and make it equitable. And number 4, I will use overlay once the game started, just to know who I'm against, to know, hey, I might get targeted by these people, just so I have a more broad idea. And most people who will be solo queuing on their mains probably will run an overlay just to make sure, because obviously getting cross-mapped by a party is not the first thing I want. Overall, this will take me a ton of effort to do, so I would appreciate if you guys would subscribe and like for all the effort I've been putting into this. So thank you. Hey, what's going on, guys? So the first mode we're testing, obviously solo. Now I'm gonna put up the chart of the stats that I averaged, and yeah, so the finals per game really isn't good. I think that's a lot to do with me just being a more conservative, safe player, and some games, not going as well as others because of certain circumstances, but I'm a very safe player, so hence why I tended to get a little less finals in this than maybe other modes. I won all the games but one, so my FKDR was 26, win-loss was 9, and overall, there's a lot of good that you like. Your stats most definitely will increase playing solo if you're a good player, if you get lucky enough to not queue like complete psychos every game. But overall, solo is a very good mode to queue if no one's on, and yeah, 9 win-loss, 9 out of 10 games won is pretty good, and I'm sure if I played 100 games of each mode, the differences would be a lot, but I didn't want to play 100 games of solo, doubles, threes, and fours because that's just way too much Bedwars. So that's why I stuck to 10, though 10 isn't really enough to make like actual statistical conclusions with. We do see a small trend at least, but overall, yeah, it's around 3 finals per games, and if you're a high skilled player, you most likely will win. The only loss I actually did take was to like a 16 or 1700 star, and it was like I literally just kind of messed up, which kind of led to the loss. But overall, a great mode, and yeah. Okay guys, so I'm gonna be moving to doubles, and I am adding a section to the scoring, and that is teammate usefulness. So that'll basically, I'm just gonna rate them. This one doesn't really mean much, but it will, like, obviously your teammate does kind of determine if this game's gonna be easy or a pain for you to deal with. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so taking a look at doubles now, you'll see yeah, so obviously these games didn't go as good, and obviously there is some part of me just not standing up to a lot of the competition, but also like teammates and how useful they were also a big factor, because in game number 5 my teammate clutched the game up, but other games I didn't even have a teammate, which also varied the usefulness score, and which left us with a 3.14 FKDR averaged, which is not good at all. And I think the main reason is with only one person, you could only do so much against a team of good players, good or better players. Especially better, you kind of stand no chance. Though one of the games, I queued a very sweaty game and ended up winning. However, it did not yield many finals because it was just a game where you're like, oh, I've got to play real safe and try my best to survive. So that is where a lot of, like, I kind of expected doubles to be relatively good regardless of the sweats for the finals per game, but I think just me as a player, this is where I should be more aggressive, maybe going for finals instead of trying to get like prot and stuff. And even then, a lot of the times when you respawn to no gen, it really affects the gameplay, whereas when you have a teammate, you can count on them, number one, not dying as frequently or sitting in gen all game, number two, like splitting with you, so that overall there is not a huge disparity between how much resources both of you guys are getting. Whereas when you solo queue, you usually tend to have teammates who sit in the gen all game, and you'll see in like 3s and 4s, I try to sit in the gen till I get armor, just so I stand a chance and I'm able to have better gear than other people, because most of these other solo queuers are in the exact same boat of I'm not getting anything the entire game, so I need to sit in gen, you know? So the finals per game is less than solo at 2.2 on average. That we'll round that down to 2. Yeah, it's a little sad how bad I did, and I'm not gonna act like I'm not like obviously I'm not the best player, but I used to be able to solo queue and average like 10 plus FKDR. Now it's just a whole different game because so many players have quit, so many players are just so sweaty now, so it really kind of affects you when solo queuing. But overall, I wouldn't recommend queuing doubles. However, it is like a fun mode sometimes, but you're gonna get sweats most games. And even if not, like, a lot of these non-teams are super annoying now because they have to fight these same sweats, you know, so they've adapted. And overall, I wouldn't recommend, but if you want to, obviously it's an option. Okay guys, switching up to threes now. You'll see, like, it didn't go horribly, and then it went horribly. So, yeah, but, basically, the one positive part about threes is overall your teammates are going to be a little more useful just because you have two. So, somebody rushing your bed is going to get 2v1'd. However, they tend to not be great against sweatier players. Like, obviously, sometimes they'll save your bed, but a lot of the times they're relatively useless. And yeah, it's a little hard. And then one of the games I literally had to go AFK because I had to talk to someone. So yeah, that also definitely affected it. But the good news is the overall FKDR wasn't horrible. Neither was the win-loss. This is gonna be, like, obviously you're going to queue a lot of sweats because most players who are, like, sweaty play threes or fours or doubles. Solos is gonna be the easiest because you're not fighting multiple players while solo queuing usually. But threes, I'd say you should avoid maps like Deposit, Nostalgia, all the sweaty maps. Like, if you queue, like, crappy maps like Grave Ship and Fang Outpost, the chances of you queuing sweats are so much lower. So that would be my biggest suggestion. However, yeah, my games definitely went a lot of different ways because the finals per game really, like, it would have been much higher if I don't count these three games where I get absolutely zero stats. And if I were to, like, instead of dividing by 10, it would be divided by 7, which 3 divided by 7 is hold on, I really should have had this. Okay, so I would have been averaging 4.3 finals per game if it were up to me removing games where I got first rushed. However, that's just not the case. But even then, 3 finals per game isn't horrible considering I got 0 for a few of the games. But most of the games that I did get finals, it was a minimum of 3, and I got 5+ for 4. So overall, threes is like a relatively good mode. It can be a little tilting if you keep queuing these sweats over and over, but it is possible. And overall, I think it's a pretty good mode to solo queue, especially if you want finals. Yeah. Okay, guys, finally off to fours, and this is probably the best mode out of all of them but solos to solo queue in my opinion. And even though I did not average as high of FKDR, I did end up getting more finals per game than any other mode. Plus, I still averaged very close to the threes FKDR. However, did lose more, so yeah. But overall, fours is a much better mode to queue, and the last few games I did get really unlucky queuing the same sweaty team twice, and they just constantly had people on me, sitting bed, everything, and it was kind of frustrating, to be honest, but not much I could do. Overall, teammates are a little useless, but if you can wait until getting 12 gold and then get armor, you can usually take out most of the game if there's no like super sweaty teams. And obviously some games go different than others, and you have non-teams like brawling for the entire game, and you might be part of one of those brawls. But overall, most games went pretty good except for a couple, and there were no like amazing teammates, but most of them go diamonds and make a bed defense, and some of them even rush, and they're like useful, maybe not breaking beds useful, but they like exist to be in the other team's way and distract, and they're not doing that on purpose, but they are doing it. So I mean, yeah, but almost 4 finals per game average, and if I didn't count like the other 3 games that didn't yield any finals, I would have been averaging 5.3 finals a game, which is great. Sorry for my dog barking. Yeah, but overall, kind of cool project to try, but I'd say stick with solo. I'm just gonna pause and do the outro when he stops. Overall, solo queuing Bedwars isn't really a great experience regardless of which mode. However, there are definitely better modes than others, and I'd say completely steer clear away from doubles, as your games are going to be sweaty, long, against really obnoxious players, and without being able to dodge some players, the game just isn't really queuable solo queue wise. However, 3s and 4s are viable, but you will run into some annoying players, and you know that sucks, but you can deal with them. I'd personally suggest just stick with solos, as even though you don't get a teammate and you most likely will lose bed to somebody rushing from the other way, if you play safe like I did, you won't get a ton of finals per game, but you will win most, if not all, games that you play. Obviously, there are some exceptions, fighting super sweaty players, or like what happened with me, fighting them and just messing up time after time. But overall, I think this video definitely shows that solo queuing isn't very easy, especially as compared to like before 2021. But yeah, there's lots of people who still play solo, and if you really want to play Bedwars but don't have anyone on, solo will be your best option. If you don't care about dying, 4s will most likely yield the most finals per game, but overall, it was a fun experiment to do. And like, subscribe, comment below. Yeah, thanks for watching.